Last week, I ran 3:01:16 at the Chicago Marathon, and today I'm going to talk you through exactly what happened on the big day over in the United States. So as you may have seen from my other socials, if you're not following me, links are down here. Chicago Marathon didn't really go my way, and I've come to terms with that. I'm good with it. At the time of filming this, we are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days post-race, and I'm very much ready to move forward and move on from the day. But before doing that, I thought it was really important to talk you guys through exactly what happened out there in America, why it didn't go my way, and a little bit maybe of what's next. So I think you'll have seen by now the kind of lead up video, the race video, and what I can see reflecting on those two things as well. And what stood out for me is just the swelling in my face and the tiredness and fatigue I can see in the race build up video, which I didn't necessarily feel at the time. If you've watched the race video, you'll see that what happened on the day is that I had a flare-up of my endometriosis, which is frustrating, but not something that I can control when that happens, how that happens, where that happens. Things felt odd from the beginning. I expected to feel tired. I was jet-lagged coming from the UK. But when I started the race, my legs just felt heavy turning over. And I started off bang on the pace that I was supposed to be running. So my goal and target was to head out at current PB pace, which is 6:40 minute per mile. We'll put the kilometre conversion on the screen too. And the plan was just to stay there, run the race, and then in the later stages of the race, kick on and pick up the pace if I felt good. For me right now, my next goal is sub 250, and I know that's a long way away. So anything incremental is what I wanted to be doing. So I started off pretty good. We were 6:40, 6:38, 6:40, 6:42. The GPS isn't great, so there's a few wavy miles in there as well. But it was pretty much on target, but I just didn't feel right. My legs felt extremely heavy, and it felt much harder than it should have felt at that pace from the beginning.
Lily!
And I kind of pushed on and was very much in my head saying, they'll loosen off, it'll feel better, and things will improve as you go. And unfortunately, they just didn't. And it's frustrating, but I think looking back on the days in the lead up now and the videos that I'm talking about kind of in the lead up, I can see the fatigue. And it's not training fatigue or tiredness, it's a kind of fatigue that endo puts on your body where my face looks swollen. I was kind of just not feeling 100%. And I couldn't work out on race day what was going on at all until I reached about mile 6 and got absolutely smacked by pain out of nowhere. You'll see, I think one of the videos when I ran past Ben, I'm literally applying pressure to the area. It was on my right-hand side.
You got this, Lils, you got this. You got this, come on.
And it's really similar for anyone who experiences it to kind of ovary pain when you're having a period. It was just very, very, very painful. I don't run with painkillers on me, and the painkillers that I can take would be the kind of painkiller that you should not be running a marathon whilst you're taking. So I tried to do something that was similar to what my TENS machine would do, which is something I use at home when my pain gets quite bad, which is basically apply pressure to the area to hopefully distract myself from the pain that I was in. Not necessarily the best method, because guess what happens if you apply pressure on one side and don't move your arm? You start throwing out your back on the other side because your form's really terrible. I basically just said to myself, let's keep going to halfway, let's keep pushing for the pace and see how I go, and then from there decide what to do. So looking at my stats, which will pop up on the screen, through to halfway, I did pretty much manage to maintain the 6:40 pace, 6:35, 6:35, 6:39, 6:40, 6:41, 6:42. Like, I was still on pace there, but going through halfway, I just had to make a sensible decision of what the best thing to do for the future of my marathon life cycle. And that was that if I kept pushing at how I was pushing, I just either was going to make myself really, really unwell by the time I finished, which would take weeks and weeks to come back from, or I was going to injure myself, again, taking weeks and weeks to come back from. And the solution in my head was either option one, jog it into the finish line, take it really, really nice and easy, or option two, back off the pace slightly and just see how I went, but still trying to push a little bit where I could. And I essentially went with option two with the thought that I could go to option one at any point if I wanted to. And that's exactly what I did. So I then started splitting more like 650s down to 7-minute miles as well, and just very much worked mile by mile trying to get through. The pain did lessen off. However, as the pain lessened off, another symptom that I get with my endometriosis is kind of leg pain and sciatica pain across my back, and that then flared up. So it was just a case of, it's something I couldn't necessarily control happening on the day. It's definitely flagged a lot of things that I maybe need to think about in the future, which is that endometriosis is it's an inflammatory condition. So anything I'm doing that adds additional stress onto my body is potentially putting me at more risk of having a flare up. And that does include things like flying long haul, operating on less sleep because you're in a foreign country. It does all feed into this. So I think for me, it is maybe looking at when I have a performance goal marathon, whether that travel is worth it, whether I want to stay close to home. What else can we do to reduce stress on me in the weeks and days leading up? And as I kind of mentioned in the videos that you'll have seen, life has just felt a lot more heavy during this training cycle. And I think perhaps the race ended up being a culmination of that. And you can't control every single thing in your environment. And this time round, I just couldn't control that enough. And you know what? I'm totally okay with it, because every single marathon is a step on the journey towards that next goal, a learning lesson, good training to take forward into the next one. So whilst Sunday wasn't a PB in the time department, it was definitely a PB in the perseverance and determination department. And I know that there'll be a marathon where I'm on for that PB time, and I will need to pull on that perseverance and determination to get me through those final miles. And I will reflect on this marathon and be so, so grateful for it. So whilst, yeah, I am disappointed, and it's okay to admit that, and I'm allowed to sit in that disappointment, I've also already kind of flipped that, and I am grateful for it. At the end of the day, my body, which lives to be against me, has got through 13 marathons, and hopefully it will get through 13 plus more in the many years to come. And what I did on Sunday was a decision to make sure that that is something that can happen, and the future of my running is the most important thing for me. I think one of the questions that people will probably have is, why didn't I step off and DNF? Which I don't really have an answer to. I think Ben sat behind the camera, and I think there was probably a point where I ran past him and he thought that I might potentially. There was a point where I thought I might, to be honest. And I think I literally said out loud to myself, you can't go on like this. But I waited for things to clear up, and I'm glad I did. I think for me, I'll never lose sight of how grateful I am to have these opportunities, to be able to fly to America to run a marathon. And to me, no matter what the result was, I still wanted to do my best to enjoy that opportunity. And And I knew that running at the pace that I was running at, hopefully the recovery time from this marathon wouldn't be too bad. And I've already seen that this week. It's Thursday. Honestly, I woke up the day after a little bit creaky, but since Tuesday, I've been absolutely fine, which is very, very different to if I'd gone out there and run 10 minutes quicker or at my PB pace. I wouldn't feel this way now. And feeling this way now means that I can get back to training sooner. Yes, a DNF also would have allowed for that, but I think mentally it would have put me in a really, really bad place. Whereas mentally I've been able to process this and I'm okay with it. And that's it, kind of moving forwards. I'll be getting back to training this week. I've got a few little runs next week, a few more little runs. And then there may be something coming up before the end of the year, which if you're not subscribed, you should subscribe now so that you can find out what on earth it is that's coming up. We'll hopefully be able to tell you, I'm hoping, in the next video or the video after that. We're just waiting for sign off. Hopefully in the next couple of videos. But overall, I just hope that I can share with you guys an open and honest, recollection of what happened on Sunday. And it's difficult when you put everything out there on the internet. I finished and I felt like my first reaction was I'd let a lot of people down because there are a lot of you that follow me on this journey. But actually, by being open and honest about what happened out there, I hopefully haven't let anybody down because I did my best on the day and that's all I could do. And unfortunately, it was just a day where the world wasn't on my side. But that's okay. And the next one will hopefully be a day where the world is on my side. It doesn't change the goal. It doesn't change my determination to keep showing up and showing what a body that struggles with endometriosis can do when you have the right support and treatment. But I do have to remember sometimes that I still live with this condition and there will be rubbish days too. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a breakdown of what happened on the day. If you haven't already, I'll put the link down below to the Strava activity where you can jump in, see all of my stats from the marathon day. And of course, if you don't already follow me over on Strava, you should do that too. Plus, you can get a discount on your Strava subscription if you don't already have one using the little code here and the link down in the description as well. But thank you so much for coming with us on this journey for the last 16 weeks. It's been another epic one, even though the result wasn't there in the end. And I'm 100% sure there will be many more epic ones to come. So also, if you can guess what's next, put it down in the comments below. Winner gets pure pride. But thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.